Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel Code for Tech Solutions. Today in this video we are going to cover very interesting topic. It's a new topic we are going to cover, and we are going to create a full stack application with Angular 18, Material, Node JS and PostgreSQL. These are some prerequisites which we are going to cover or use to create this full stack application. We are going to use VS Code for front-end and back-end development. For the front-end development, we are going to use these technologies and versions like Angular CLI 18.2.3, NPM 10.5.0, Material 18.2.5, and for the backend development, we are going to use Node version v20.11.1. And for database, we are going to use PostgreSQL as a database. We are going to use pgadmin tool as an database management tool for creating database and table for PostgreSQL database, and we are going to use Postman to test our APIs which we are going to write on the Node.js backend application side. So this is about all the technology and versions we are going to use, and the best thing is that we are going to use all the latest versions to create this full stack application. These are some points which we are going to cover in sequence. Like first we will see our architecture part. Next I will show you our user interface of our application. Next we are going to create a database and table in PostgreSQL side. Next we will create our backend application using Node.js, and in that we will create a new Node.js backend application first. We will configure and configure the PostgreSQL and create a database connection and pull uh, on the in Node.js backend application side, and we are going to implement CRUD operations, and finally we will test our CRUD APIs using Postman. So this is about the steps which we are going to follow or implement while creating our Node.js backend application. Similar way, we are going to create our front-end application using Angular 18 version, and it's a standalone application. So first we will create our Angular front-end application using Angular 18 version. Next we will create our material table, and here we are going to use Angular material library to create tables and populate columns and data in that. We are going to implement functionalities like we are going to implement CRUD APIs or CRUD functionality, and along with that we are also going to implement filter sorting pagination with the help of Angular material library. Finally, we will test our end-to-end functionality through UI browser and verify the result on the Postgres side database. Verify the result in our table on the database side. So this is about all the points which we are going to cover in sequence. So this is about the architecture part which we are going to cover. Basically, we are going to create a account system in which we are going to create our account web front-end application using Angular version 18. In that, we are going to use material table, mat table, and we are going to use HTTP client to give the call to our APIs which we are going to write on the backend side. So here on the front end side, we are going to implement all the CRUD operations along with the important functionalities like filter or searching, sorting, pagination. We are going to implement with the help of Angular material library. Next, on the backend side, we are going to create our account-service application, backend application using Node.js. In that, we are going to use like a PG module we are going to use, through which we are going to connect with our PostgreSQL database, and we are going to use HTTP client, and we will call various HTTP methods on that like get, post, put and delete, and through which we will achieve our CRUD functionalities. On the database side, we are going to use PostgreSQL database, and to create tables and database on the PostgreSQL side, we are going to use pgadmin tool, and it will hold the account related data on the table, and we are going to create database and table for that. So this is about the overall architecture we are going to cover in this video. So I will request you to please watch this from start to end. So this is my channel Code for Tech Solutions. So Please do visit to my channel and do not forget to subscribe. With the help of you and support of you people, I am able to create number of full stack videos, like with the combination of uh, like React plus Spring Boot and React plus Node.js. Also, I have created number of videos with the combination of Angular plus Spring Boot and Angular plus Node.js. These are all the videos I have created successfully with the support of you people. I will request you to please visit my channel and find the full stack application which you are looking for. So please subscribe my channel and visit and watch the video which you would like to see for the full stack application, or there are other videos as well. So this is about the short introduction of our application. Now let us start with our user interface first. Like our user interface will look like this one. This is the header part, and here is the search filter functionality, wherein we can our uh, search our account, like it's a name, like it's Amar, it's Kevin, fine, for current account. Okay, so this filter is applicable to all the column data or table data, fine. So this is about the filter. Similar way, we are going to implement sorting functionality, which is applicable to all the columns, like it will sort our data in ascending or descending order based on which column we have clicked. So this is about sorting part we are going to implement. And next we are going to implement the pagination part. You can see below the table there is a pagination section, through which from here we can control the items per page we want to display, like this one. And once we click on next page, it will show the next 5 items. Likewise, it will keep on showing until we reach the last page. Once we reach on the last page, it will disable the next page and last page, because we do not have any further records to show. Similar way, once we click on previous page, it will show the previous records and take us to the previous page. And once we reach on the first page, it will disable the first page and previous page, because we are on the first page. Now this is about the filters, sorting and pagination functionality, which we are going to implement with the help of Angular material. Now next thing, like apart from this, we are also going to implement CRUD functionalities. Now let me add some records, like let's say it's a James, and name James, and account, let's say it's a savings account, and balance, let's say it's a 2 lakh. We can submit. So we can see the new entry is added successfully. So our this is about creating a new account. Similar way, if you want to edit the account, we can simply click on that record, and that row will get populated in this form field, mat form field. Here we can modify it to, like, instead of James, we can say it's Tom, and we can submit, and we can see the record is updated successfully. So with this, like, we can achieve our updation part with the click of edit button. And once we want to remove any record, like let's say this is the 11th row record, if you want to delete this, we can simply click on delete button. Once we click confirm with OK button, so the record will get deleted. Now you can see the record is deleted successfully. So this is about, let us delete one more record, and fine. Yes, we can see we have deleted the record successfully. Seems good. Now this is about overall functionality which we are going to cover in this video. So I will request you to please watch this from start to end, and do not forget to subscribe and like this. If you like to add some comment, so please do add the comment as well. So let us start with our coding part without any further ado. So this is our workspace. Now let me open the VS Code. Before we open the VS Code instance, let me close this existing one. So before we do anything, first we need to create our database and table on the pgadmin side. So you need to install this pgadmin and PostgreSQL database. So how to install that, I have created video on that as well, so you can check on that part. Now once we open this pgadmin, like this is the pgadmin tool. Once you open the, it will show you the interface like this one. Now here we can see we have this databases option. We can right click on this database and create database, select the create database option. Here we can create our database. Let's say it's account master, and we can save it. Now inside this we have this schemas option. You can see under this database we have public schema option. We can use the public schema as a by default option, or we can create a new schema for our application. Let's say it's account related, we can create account ACC schema. Inside this, now we can go to the tables it here, and we can create a new table with name, let's say it's account. And we need to add the columns as well. We can add here, we can say first of all it's ID, and it's a kind of serial, and we can make it as a primary key. Next thing, we can add name. It's in character varying. We can define some length. We can add one more column with name type. It's account type like saving, current, or other. It's again character varying, and we can define some length. Next thing, like here we can add balance, and it should be big int or integer, you can take, and we can save it. Fine. So what we have done, like we have created under databases, we have created account underscore master as a new database. Inside that we have created one new schema with name ACC account, and inside that we have created account table with 4 different columns like ID, name, type, and balance. Now if we check the database table, now here is our table, and if we run the select query, we can see there is no data, only column it is showing, which is as expected. Fine. With this we are done with our table and database creation on the PostgreSQL side. Now let us focus on our backend application development. Now this is our, we can open a new terminal. Now it's everything is empty now. Here we can create one new folder with name account-service, and here now we can see this folder is empty. Now we can initialize it using command npm init y. Now we can see the package.json is created. Now we need to install what all things we require, like we are going to use Express framework and course, next node1, next pg, and body parser. So we can install all these dependency in one go. So this pg dependency is for connecting to the PostgreSQL database. So we can see all the dependencies added as expected. Now let us create one file with name server.js, and this is our file for which we need to mention the entry in our package.json. Instead of index.js, we are going to use server.js, and here we need to add the start script as well, and here we can mention it's a node1 server.js. So now here inside this server.js, first we can define all the modules or constants or modules. What are modules we are going to use? Next thing, like we are going to create a server, Node.js server, Next we are going to connect to next we are going to create a PostgreSQL connection and pull on that connection, and finally we are going to create a kind of controller to implement CRUD functionalities. That's it. So these are 4 points which we are going to cover in sequence. So let us start with the first point, like we are going to use express and we can define one constant for app, and this is going to use the express framework. It's a backend framework which we can use for Node.js backend development. Next thing, we can define one constant for course. Next we can define one constant for port. Let's say we can define some port with specific port like 3005 as a default. Next we can define one constant for it's for like PGSQL, or we can use that in our whenever we are going to create our DB pool. Now here we can use one constant for body parser. That's it. Now here our app should use course. Next, like body parser.json. It should be used. Dot URL encoded extended as true. That's it. So this is about body parser. Finally we can write our app.listen method, wherein it is going to listen to port, and in case of error it should log the message, like if there is an error it should throw error, or else it can unsuccessful the server is running successful. In that case we can log the message like server is running on port, and here we can write our port, which is like this port, this constant. Okay, fine. So when our server is running fine on port this one, so everything goes fine, it will log this message. Now let us run our application, like it's an npm start. First of all we need to save what all changes we have made. Let us check. Fine, our application is running fine on port 3005. Now next thing, like we can add we have created this server. Now next thing what we can do, we can create our PostgreSQL connection. So to do that what we can do, we can create one DB folder. Inside that we can create a new file like db.js, inside which we need to add one constant, like we can say it's a PGSQL pool, and here let's say require, we need PG to connect with the PostgreSQL database, and here we can get the pool on that. Next thing, we can define one constant for pool, and here we can use new, we can create an instance of this one, and here we can mention what all things we are going to use, like what is the username is Postgres in my case. Next thing, like password, you can type your own password, whatever you have set. I'm using this password, default or root password, whatever, but you can, if you have you can create a new user account and define the password it there. For the database, we can use our database name, which is account_master, which we have just created. Next thing, like we can mention the host as a local host, port which we have defined 5432 at the time of installation of this PostgreSQL, and we can use the max connection like 10, and that's it. This much is enough to connect with the PostgreSQL database. So we have configured the database properties so that we can connect with the PostgreSQL database. Next thing, like we can connect to this pool, and here we can use error and connection as a callback. So in case of error, we are going to throw the error, or else we are going to log a message like connected to PostgreSQL DB successfully. Next thing, we can release the connection once it is no more in use. Fine, we can save it. Now next important thing we need to do, like we need to export this module. We can use module dot export is equal to this pool. We need to export so that we can use it in our server.js or in our controller, from where we are going to call make use of this pool and call the different queries on that. Fine. Now with this, we are done with our DB part, db.js inside which. Now let us do one next thing, like, so this is about PostgreSQL connection and all. So we have covered in our db.js. Fine. Next thing, like we can create this controller and implement CRUD functionalities in that. So for that, we can create one new folder and we can name it like controller, inside which we can create one file with name controller.js. Now inside this, we are going to implement the CRUD functionalities. Now first we need to define constant, and we are going to use express. Next, like router, and this is the router we are going to use. We are going to use So here we are going to use our database, and this is the DB which we have created. Next we can use body parser, or we can copy those lines of body parser and add it here. We require body parser, and our router should use this body parser. Fine. Now next thing, like we can call the different methods on router to implement the, here is we are going to implement get method, and we are going to go router.get, and here we are going to add some API endpoint, like this is related to accounts, and here we have request response as a callback, and here we can mention, like we can call db dot first of all we need to create one constant for SQL, and here we can mention it's a select star from. We need to define first schema, what schema we have created it here, because we are not using the public as a default schema, rather we have created our own schema with name ACC, it's for account, and inside that we have our account table. So to access that along with the schema, we can use add first schema, next the table name, that's it. Now this is about our query. Now we need to execute this query. For that we can call db dot query, and here we can pass the SQL, and here we can use error and result, and in case of error we are going to simply throw the error, and in case of success we are going to return our response dot status. We can set the status as 200, and here we can use this JSON, and result dot we can take the rows, that's it, and we can complete this. So this is about get method. Similar way we can create one post method. Here we can change our method name http post we need to use, and here for the post method we are going to use the constants like name, type, and balance, So here we have implemented everything, like we have created post, put and delete method, and with this we have implemented all the CRUD functionalities. Now we need to test all these CRUD functionalities. Now we can first save it. Now let us test all this. Let me open the Postman. We can copy this much. Fine. And the port number which we are, so before we do anything, so we have created our controller, we need to export that as well. So to do export that, we can use like module dot export, and here we can use router. That's it. Now we have exported. Now we need to make use of that in our server file. So here we can create one controller constant, and we can say we can use our controller here, and our application should use this controller. That's it. Now we can save this. Now we are ready to test our CRUD functionalities. Now let us check that. Let us first call the get method, and here ours is accounts and 3005 port, the same port we are using, our application is running on. Now let us test with get method. It is showing empty because we do not have any data in database, which is as expected. Next thing what we can do, we can test our post mapping. Can copy this, select body raw, and this is the JSON. Now let me copy one record to be inserted into the database. Now let us try by adding this record, how it works. We can see our post mapping is working fine. Let us add two more records and check. Seems good. ID is incremented by 1 as well, which is as expected. This is the third record. Now let us go back and call the get method. Now we can see we have 3 records which we have just added. So our post is working fine. We can cross check in database because we have records now. Seems good. So this is about get and post. Now let us check with our put mapping, through which we can update our account. Now for put mapping, we need to add the modified data which need to be updated. Like instead of Sujata, we can say it's a Suman, and it's an current account, and here we can mention like 5,50,000, and we can here we need to add ID as well, which is a 3, and it should be same as this one. Fine. Okay, so for put ID name, and we have modified, and this is the put method. Let us check why it is not working for put. This is our controller, and this is the put method, this is the ID we are passing. Now we can save it. This is the update query. Update account, set name, type and balance, where id is equal to fine. So we can use like same id, it here and check, and we can save it. Now let us check with put mapping. This is the third record. If we call the get method, so we have 3 records. Now for put mapping, let us check. So this is the put we are using. This is the db.query, SQL we have passed the name, type and balance. This is the id. API v1 accounts for put same, and save it. Now let us copy from here and can open one new. Let us copy this record. Let's say Sujay, and here expenses account we can modify to 51 5,10,000. Now let us check. It is showing the 200 OK. Let us check into the database. Sujay expenses. So the record is getting added, only the message it is not showing, or the. So basically after this status, this is our status, right? After this, where is put? After this, like we need to write one message as such. Item is updated successfully for id, and here you can mention the id, like this is the id. That's it. Now same we can copy and add the message for delete as well. Instead of atom, we can say it's an account. Now we can see it should show the message as expected. Now if you go back at here, and we can copy some other record. For second record we can try. This is the put mapping. Here we need to use the id as the second, and instead of Kevin we can say it's a Robin, and current, instead of current we can say it's a savings, and we can use 99,000. Fine. Now it is showing the message account is updated successfully, which seems good. Now with this, like our updation is working fine. Now let us check for our delete method, and this is the delete. We can pass the third id which we want to delete. We are in PostgreSQL.c. delete from account where id is equal to 4, and this is like you can use the same, and we can add the id, and this id, because here we are accessing id and here we have defined something else. Now let us check. So this is delete from account where id is equal to, sorry, it should be first attribute and it's not a 4. That's it. Now fine, let us check. Seems good. The id third is deleted successfully from the database. Now let us check by calling the get method and check. We have only 2 records because third record we have just deleted. In similar way we can check into the database. Seems good. Fine. Now everything is working fine as expected. With this we are done with our CRUD APIs. All the CRUD API we have implemented for this PostgreSQL database using Node JS application. Now let us focus on our front-end application development. So let us open the new terminal at here, and here we can create our front-end application with name like account-web. We can select the CSS, and the server-side rendering we can say no, and it has started installing the packages. We will wait till it installs. Now application, so front-end application with name account-web is created successfully. Now we can check it is using all the Angular 18.2.0 related libraries. Now let us go to our application for project folder, which is account-web, and here we can install the, now here we have this account, okay, Angular related libraries. Now let us run our application using command -o. Now we can see our application is running fine. Fine. So we have created one new Angular application. It's a standalone application because we are going to use Angular 18 version. So let me show you what all versions we are going to use. Angular CLI, which is 18.2.5 version, and Node 20.11.1, and let me show you npm version as well. so which is 10.5.0. so we are using these latest versions to create this application. Now let us focus on, now we can see like our application, front-end application is running on port 4200, whereas our backend application is running on port 3005. So in order to make a communication in between these two, so we need to create a proxy. So here inside src we can create one proxy.config.json file, inside which we need to mention like this is our endpoint. For all the endpoints starting with API, we are going to send this to target, and our target URL, what is the target URL, which is like this. We can copy this much. This is our backend base URL, backend URL we can copy, so that it should redirect to our backend application. And give comma. Next we can add secure as a false, and that's it, we can save it. So this is like we have created one proxy.config.json file. If you have some other origin than the local host, other host than the local host, you can use this option, and here you can mention your other host. Fine. So in our case we are using the local host, so we can stick to that, and this much is enough, so that our front-end application will redirect to this URL, and it will end-to-end connection, like from backend to so front-end to backend we can achieve with this one. Fine. Now next thing, like we need to add this entry into angular.json as well, and this is our serve option, serve command. Here we need to mention add one options, and here we are going to add proxy config, and where it is inside our src folder, and this is the proxy.config.json it should use. And we can save it, seems good. Okay, so here is a double bracket which is not needed. Fine. Now we have saved it. So with this we are done with our proxy configuration on the Angular side, front-end application. Now let us do next thing. What we can do, we can create the component which are required. Let me create one new terminal. Here we can go to our project folder, and here we can create the component. Like first we are going to create the component with ng generate, and first we need to create one module, and we can name it like it's account related, so we can create account module. So we can see one account module is created. Next thing, we can create one service using command ng generate, and here is the service, and we are going to create inside account module, and the service name is account itself. Now we can see the service is created. Similar way we can create one component inside account module, and we can name our component like home component, and it should be standalone. Now we can see our component is created, and final thing, we can create one interface inside this account module, and we can name it like account itself. Now this account is created. What we have done, like while creating the components, first we have created this account module. Next we have created account service inside this account module. Next we have created our home component inside this account module, and this home component has its own CSS, HTML, text file and TS file. Now this home component we are going to use to render our table data. We are going to show everything on that, like our search filter, table data, along with the action buttons like edit and delete, and we are also going to add the mat form fields for input fields for name, type and balance, and submit and cancel button, along with the pagination part. Everything we are going to show on the home page. Now we are done with our component creation. This is the home component. Finally we have created this account interface. Now here we can add the attributes which we are going to use. It's a ID, next is a string, and next is a type, and here is a balance, which is again a number, and we can save it. Now we are done with this interface. What next we can do? Now in order to route to this home component, we need to add some routing logic. Let us do that here. We can add path, let's say accounts home, and component to show like it's a home component. Next thing, like for path accounts redirect to, and the same we can copy, edit it here, and we can use path match as a full. Next we can copy this, edit it here, and this is the empty path. We are again redirect to home, so we can save. So what we have done, like if we have this URL kind of account slash home, we are showing this home component. If we have account, if the URL is included, then we are redirecting to home, and even if it has empty, then again we are redirecting to the home. In short, like anyhow we are going to redirect the URL to the home page at first. That logic we have written it here. Next thing, like in order to show the home page, like we need to write some router outlet it here. Fine, we can save it. Now we can see it is showing the home works. Now if you go at home and open the HTML, and this is the text or content it is showing, that means our router is working fine as expected. Now next thing we can focus. Now we can design our home page for full stack application. So let us do that. Here we are going to show the container as a root, and here we can define some style, like width we can mention 771 778 pixel. We can add some margin top, let's say 20 pixel, and margin left, let's say 30 pixel. That's it, we can save it. Inside this, first if you want we can add one line break, and here we can mention some headers, and for headers we can use to show it in bold, we can use strong, and here we can mention what header. It's an like full stack with Angular 18 material, and for backend we are going to use Node JS, and it's a PostgreSQL database. So this is the header. Now let us add some style to that, like we can add some color, Now you can see it is appearing as expected. Seems good. Next thing, like below this we are going to use now we have added the header. So in order to make use of Angular material, we need to add the Angular material first. So we can use the command ng add @angular -material. This command will add the material dependency in our application. So let us check our package.json. Now here we can use y, and here we can go with the default theme, and for typography we can say y, and include and enable animations. Yes. Now we can see our Angular material is installed as expected. Now we can make use of that. Now let us go to our HTML8 here. Now here we can use like mat form field. Now in order to make use of mat form field, we need to import it first. Mat form field module. We can copy it. Can use Angular material and form field. You can save it. That's it. Now inside this mat form field, what all things we are going to use? Like first we can define some width. Let's say 175 pixel. Next thing, inside this we are going to add one input which is of type text, and this is kind of mat input we are going to use, and it's a placeholder we can add, and here we can say enter name. Now to use the mat input, like you can see it is appearing like this one. Now to use the mat input, we need to add import it here. Now it is showing like this one. Let us rerun our application and check how it looks. Seems good, it is showing, and seems good, fine. Now it is showing enter name. So here for this style we can add some width so that it should show in a single line, like let's say it's 70 pixel, and we can save it. Seems good. Now it is showing on a single line. Seems good. Next thing, like this is for a name input. Similar way we can add two more fields, one for type and one for, this is like enter type, and this is for enter balance, and we can save it. Now we need to add some margin left. Similar way we can add it here, and we can save it. Seems good. Now next thing, like we can add some buttons, and for this button we have various options to create matte button. Now we can use matte flat button, and here we can name it like submit. We can add some style, margin left as an 25 pixel, and save it. Similar way we can add one more button, which is for cancel. Here margin left we can mention 10 pixel. Now let us check how it looks. That is showing like this one. Now we need to add the import for button as well. This is a matte button module we need to add. Now it seems good. Now for the cancel button we can add some red color. Seems good, fine. So this is about the matte form fields through which we are going to enter the new account, or we are going to modify the existing account. Now let us add some search filter as well. Below this we can add one line break. After this we can add copy one form field like this one, and here we can mention like search account, we can say, fine. And here, so one more thing we can do it here, like we can add one matte icon, and to use the matte icon we can add matte icon module and save it. Now here for this matte icon we can add font icon as an person, and to show this next to our input box we can use matte suffix. Can save it. Now seems good, it is showing this is the person. Similar way, if you have any icon or type, you can add it here, and for this is for balance. Right now we do not have any icon existed for this one, but if you can check what icon is appropriate for this one, and we can add one more icon for search functionality. Here we can add, and here we can add search. Now here it is appearing as expected. Now here we can remove this margin left which is not needed here. Fine, seems good. This is the search functionality. We can add some width, more width, like 2. Fine. Next thing what we can do, below this we need to show the table. Now we can add one line break. Now here we can use, like we can search for Angular material table. We can click on this link, and here this is like the option to create the Angular material table, and this table we can copy as is, and here we can add it, and we can save it. Now it is showing the error for this data source. Now let us add some constant. So these are the constant we can copy and add it here. Now for the data source what we need to do, like it's a new matte table and data source. and it is of type account. We can create an instance of it. We need to add import for this one, and we can save it. Now to make use of that mat, we need to import mat table module so that we can make use of the data source and mat table related options. Fine, it is showing the headers as expected. Now we need to show our headers. So this is the default headers we have copied from. Now we can use our headers. Now to change these headers, we can use, this is the first ID, name, type, and this is the balance we are going to show. We can save it. Now same things we need to add it here, like ID, name, and this is the type, and this is the balance. Now for this ID field, we need to mention it here, what is the exact ID we are going to show, and like it's a account ID we want to display. This text will get displayed as a column header, so we need to make sure what we want to show on the screen. So this is for type, and here is for balance. Now we are calling on the elements. Now what we can do, we can show it here. Seems good. Now it is showing the headers as expected for us. Now let us do one thing. So we can define some constant here, like we can define one constant for account, which is of type account, and we can initialize it with, first is ID, next is a name, next is a type, and balance. Now here we can define one balance variable which is of type any, and we can assign as a undefined. So this is the integer. So if we not use this one, so it will show the 0 every time we open the balance the screen, it will show the 0. So to avoid that, we can use this dot balance. Fine, you can save. Next thing what we can do, like we can create one accounts constant, which is a type of account array. Number of accounts it will hold, and we can initialize it with empty array. So we are done with. Now we can go back to our HTML. So we can copy this account, and we can use that to render the element on the account. So this is like, this is the element we are going to use. Instead of that, we can use the account, which is more readable. That's it. And here, instead of row, we can use the accounts constant, which we have created for holding the number of accounts as an account array. Fine. So this accounts we have declared it here. Fine. Now let us do one thing. Now we have shown our headers, column headers. Now let us focus on the data part. So let us implement our get mapping so that we will show all the accounts which are existed on the database side. For that, first we need to define our, this is the service variable we can use, like HTTP client, which is of type HTTP client, and we can save it. Now in order to make use of this HTTP client, like here inside this config, we need to add providers. Now we can see this is our main.js, which is the entry point for our application, from which our application will get bootstrapped and it will use the app config, wherein we need to mention what all providers we are going to use. And here for to call the HTTP methods, we are going to use provide HTTP client, and we can save it. Fine. Now we can come back it here. We can implement our first method like fetch all. So first of all, we can define one base URL which is of type string, and we can use the base URL. Like we can go back to our service, and here we can see in controller we are using this URL as a base URL. Like this is the base URL. We can copy, because that we need to append to our URL. So basically this is the URL, and to which we need to append this. Now we can use like fetch all accounts method. It's like observable, and it is returning account array. And here we can call return this dot, we can call HTTP client, and here we can call the get method, which will be returning account array. And inside this get method we are going to pass our base URL. That's it. We need to add import for this account. That's it. So we are done with our fetch all accounts. This method will return all the accounts which are existed into our database. Fine. Now we need to consume this get API in our home.html, so that home.ts file, so that we can render it on the HTML side. So here is our home.component. It should implement like after unit, and we need to implement this, provide the implementation for this method. We need to define one constructor like private, and we are going to use account service. That's it. We can save it. Now here inside this method we can call our account service method, and on that we can call this method fetch all accounts. And here we can subscribe to this, and here is our data callback, and we can assign this data which is returned from the database to our accounts variable, local variable, and here we can pass this data. You can save it. Now you can see still it is not showing the data because we are using the data source to render it. Now what we need to do, like we can copy, we need to change the data source, and here we need to assign this return data to this data source variable. Fine, and we can save it. Now we can see it is showing the data as expected. Now it is showing only name, so type and balance it is not showing. Let us check why it is not showing. So here it should be type, and here it should be balance, and we can save it. And for ID again it should be ID. Fine. Now it seems good. It is showing everything as expected. Now so this is about get API, which is working fine. Now let us focus on our filter and sorting and pagination functionality. To implement and apply that functionality, we need more records. Now let us add few more records. We can copy some records. and we can use this our post mapping as well, or we can add it in bulk, whatever. So let us add few records in just a minute. Fine, this is about the third record. We have added both, whatever. So we have added some 12-13 records successfully. Now let us check it here. Now we can see we have all those records. Fine. Now what next we can do, like here let us add some CSS part as well to the table data, so that we do not need to do it later on. So this is the code for CSS. It's a smaller code we can apply. If you want more CSS to apply, you can create your classes and apply that. For now I am just adding these few lines, and you can save it. Now you can see the CSS is applied as expected. So what is the CSS is? So this is the mat header row, and this color we have applied to these headers, and we have mentioned some row height which is a 30 pixel, and for the even rows, like these are the colors for even rows, we have applied this color to all the even rows. Fine, it seems good. Now let us focus on our search filter functionality. So here is our input box for searching. Now for this input we can add this filter first. Next, here we can define, once we input or enter any text, that time it should search the respective account, and here we need to add the filter value. What value it has entered we can pass. Now here we need to define implement this function. This is the input, which is of type string. Here we are again going to get our balance, which is the integer, and others are string, so we can use any. Now here, so to hold our filtered list, we need to define one variable. So we can copy, and we can define the constant it here, like it's a filtered accounts. Fine, and we can use it here, and we can iterate on the original. We need to filter on original list, and we can add filter. Here we can say for each atom, atom dot name dot to lowercase. First we need to either convert to the to lowercase or to uppercase, whatever, but it should be in sync. And we can use includes. Here is our input dot to lowercase we can use. So this is about name. Similar way we can add for type. Sorry, here. Okay, so this is about name. We can copy it, and similar way we can add for type, and next for balance. So balance is an integer, so we need to convert it to the string, and we can check includes, and here we do not need to use to lowercase because it's a number. Fine. Next thing, like our data, now we have this filtered account list, but now we need to change our data source with this filtered account list so that it should reflect on the screen. Now we can copy it and add it here. Fine. Now let us check how it works. So this is our whole data. Now let us try to add search for Robin. Seems good. For Tom, fine. For savings account, for current, so current we do not have any. For personal, fine. And income. Okay, seems good. Like everything is working fine. The filter is working. Now next thing, we can apply our sorting logic on the column. So we can go back to our Angular table it here, and we can search for sorting logic. So this is our sorting logic. Now here what we can do, what all things, this is the match sort at table level we need to make use of. So this is our table. Here we can add match sort and we can save it. Okay, and what next we need to add match sort header for every column. Now this is our ID column, this is our name column, this is the next column, this is the last column. Fine. So we have added match sort header. What next we need to do, like here this is the match sort variable we can add to our TS file, and we need to add import for these. Can use any for now and save it. So next thing, like we need to apply our sort to our data source. So here we need to add this entry so that it will get applied to our data source. Fine. So this is about match sort. Now one more thing we need to use, like we need to import this it here because it's a match sort module, and we can save it. Now let us check how it works. This is a account ID, and this is in descending, this is in ascending, similar for name, type and balance. So our sorting is working fine as expected. Now let us focus on our, so before let me show you what all things we have done. Like here we have added this match sort at table level. Next we have added this match sort header for all the columns, and we have added this variable viewChild match sort, and we can apply this match sort to our data source, and we have imported this match sort module. That's it. Now let us implement our pagination part. Now let us check for pagination. So this is the pagination. Now here we can check how it has implemented. So we can copy this part after table, and we can add same after table we need to add. Next we can copy, similar way we can copy the variables like this one, and here we can define this. We need to add import, and we can apply our paginator to data source. You can save it. Here we need to add import for the paginator as well, and we can save it. Seems good now. Now we can see the pagination is applied. The pagination is applied. Once we click on next button, it is showing the next items, and for previous button it is showing the previous items. Similar way, once we click on last page, it will take us to the last page, and on click of first page it will take us to the first page, and from here we can control the number of items per page. Fine. So this is about the pagination part. What we have done, we have added this mat paginator below table, and inside this ts file we have added this view child variable constant, and we have applied this paginator constant to our data source. And next what we have done, we have imported mat paginator module. That's it. So this is about the pagination part we have implemented. Now let us focus on our CRUD functionalities. We have implemented get mapping. Now let us focus on post mapping. Now here what we can do to implement the post mapping, this is the name field, type field, balance. Once we enter these fields and once we click on submit, it should get submitted to the database. That logic we can implement now. Now this is our submit button, and here we can implement our on click functionality, and this submit is we are going to use for add or edit purpose, and it's an add or edit account, and here we can add use like it's an account, and we can save it. Now we can copy this, and we need to add one functionality here in our ts file, and here is our account which is of type account. Now first we need to define the create method inside this service. We can copy this, and here we can say it's an create account, and here we can use this post method which will return a particular account, and this is the base URL. We need to pass the data to be inserted into the database which is of account type, and this is the data we can pass. That's it. Now we are done with our create account. Now same we need to call it here. Now here this method is getting used for add or edit, so we can check like if account dot id is equal to 0, like in that case we are going to call update update, that means the account id is existed. In that case we are going to call update, or else we are going to call addition or creation logic. So here we can call our account service, and this is the create account method, and here we need to pass this account which need to be inserted into the database. This is the subscribe method, and here we can mention next, and for data we are going to log the message like new account created successfully. After this in order to show it or reflect it on the screen, we can use window.location.reload, so that we do not need to refresh the page. You can save it. In case of error, we can show message like account updated successfully, and we can save it. Fine. So this is about our account creation. Sorry, this is the error message, and simply we can, okay, no, this is, sorry, here it should show the error as such. Fine. So this is about new account creation. Now let us check how it works. So here we can enter new account. Let's say it's an Vijay, type current bank account, balance let's say 2,20,000 somewhere. We can submit. Now it is not reflecting. Yes, we need to add map it to the these are the inputs. So this is the okay, so these are the inputs for this is the name, and here we can use like ng model, and here we can use account.name. We can save it. Now to make use of this, we need to add import as an common module. We first need to add and forms module, and we can save it. Now we can check here. This is for name. Similar way, we need to add for type and for balance. This is the balance, this is the type, and we can save it. Now let us check by adding one more record, like let us say it's a Sam, name is a Sam, and here account type, let's say expenses, balance somewhere 44,000. We can submit. Now we can see the record is added successfully. So this record, 14th record, is not added because we have not mapped it with the ng model like this one. Okay, so our submit or post method is working fine, and we have added one new account successfully with that. Now let us focus on our update method. Now first we need to create one method inside our service to update the record. Now to update the record, first we need to add update button so that we can make use of that. So we need to add the action buttons first. Now here we can copy this last record, and we can add one for edit. So before we do this, first we need to add two headers at here, because these are the displayed columns. At here we need to add edit, and next as a delete, and we can save it. Now we can go at here and we can copy this last column, and here we can add, this is for edit, and same name we can give, and for edit here we can add one button, and it is of type like matte flat button we can use, and its name like edit. If we want to add some style like width, if you want to mention, can mention some height like 27 pixel, and fine. Now this is about, now we need to import the matte button module we have imported. Okay, so we have imported that, and this is for edit. Similar way we need to add for cancel, and here delete, sorry, it's a delete, and this is again delete. Fine. And for delete we can add some color like one. Fine. Now let us check how it looks. Seems good. It is showing as expected. Now with this, like, we have added action buttons to our table. Now once we click on this edit button, this record should get populated here. Now that logic we can add. Now this is our edit button, and here we can add the click event, and here on click of the button we want to populate account form fields. Here we need to pass the account. Now we need to define one function here, like let's say this account is of type account, and here we have one local variable as an account. We need to use it like this is account.id. so this id we want to set from this input account.id. Similar way we can add phone name, this is for type, and last one is balance. Now we can save it. Now let us click on this one. Now we can see it is showing as expected. So what we have done it here, like we have called this is our edit button, and on click of edit action button we are calling this functionality, and we have defined this one. So whatever entries we add, whatever row we click, that we have passed it here, and we have set the values from here and assigned to this our local variable account. This is our account, and the same variable we are using it here to show the data on our like field, the form fields, like this is the form fields, account balance and account name and type. For that we are going to use that. Okay, fine. Now with this we have populated these entries. Now we need to modify this, and once we submit it should update the record. Now first we need to implement our update method in service. For that we can use like this is the update account, and here to update the account we can use like put method, and for this here to update we need to add one more thing here. You can ask data.id, we need to pass the id along with the modified data. So here there are double brackets, single bracket, and here need to complete this. Seems good. So this is about update account. Now let us check. We can call the update account in our here is the logic to update. Now what we can do, we can copy this create account method and paste it at here, and here we can simply call our update account, and here we can mention like account updated successfully. This message we need to show. Seems good. Now let us check how it works. So we can, let us populate this last record here. Instead of Julia we can say it's a Kumar, and instead of income account we can say it's a savings account, and here we can say 5,50,000 55. Okay, 3 times 5, 3 times 0. Now let us check. Yes, it seems good. 11th record is updated successfully as expected. Now this is about updation part which is working as expected. Now let us focus on our delete functionality. Now similar way we have this action button delete. Now here what we can do, here we can call on click, here we can call delete account, and here we can pass. For deleting we just need to pass the id, which is enough. We can copy it, and we need to define one function to delete the account, and for account deletion we just need to pass the id, which is of type number. And here first we need to define the delete method inside service. So let us do that. This is for update. Similar way we can add one more thing, one more method. This is for delete account, and for deleting the account we just need to pass the ID which is of type number, and here we can call the delete method, and here we just need to pass the ID. No data is required for delete method, and we can save it. So this is about delete method. Now we can call the same delete method here. We can call our service first, account service, and we can call this delete account. Here we need to pass the ID to be deleted. We can call the subscribe method, and here for the subscribe method we can call this is the data. Now we can use like this dot accounts, this dot accounts dot filter, and this is the atom dot ID. If this ID is not equal to ID, in that case we are going to remove it. That's it. Now here we can add one constant, like we are going to show call the confirm method, and here we can use like are you sure you want to delete, and here we can check if is confirmed. In that case we are going to delete the record. So this code we can cut and add inside this, so that only once we click on OK button the record should get deleted from the table. Okay, so let us check how it works now. So this is the 5th record for Kyra. We can try to delete once we click on OK button. Okay, so the record is getting deleted, but only after we refresh. So what we can do here, we can call window dot location dot reload and check. Now let us delete this R now, which is of 6th record. Yes, we can see the record is deleted successfully. So with this we are done with all the functionality like CRUD functionalities as well as searching, sorting, pagination as we discussed. I will request you to please subscribe my channel, and please like and subscribe this video as well, and please do watch my other videos as well which I have created, where like on my channel Code for Tech Solutions I have created number of full stack videos. So I will request you to please visit my channel and see the other videos as well. Thank you so much for watching this.